Do you hear that? That distant, majestic rumbling? That vaguely sounds like a hungry brain. It really wants a sandwich. And you know what's in that sandwich? Some pickle. Some cheddar cheese. Thinly sliced. Some avocado, maybe? On a different sandwich? Because that would taste weird with a pickle. At least in my professional opinion. And by professional, I mean not at all that. You know, it's the meat of that brain sandwich that's calling out over the horizon you see before you. That's right. It's lore. Original character lore. Original characters, original worlds, things that we make as creative people in this world that are really hard to promote because nobody knows what the heck we're talking about but us. Hello, hi, my name is Reverie Odd, and I do this. I do this thing. I make those sandwiches. I eat that lore. And I barf it up for your enjoyment, hopefully. So step into my office in the void, and let's get right into this thing. Good day to you, my dearest compatriots. Welcome back to I Draw Things While I Talk to You About Things and stuff. It took me a while to find time to record the talking portion of the video. Apologies for the slight delay. And also, I'm heading to a writer's conference, so I had to prep for that. But yes, today we are talking about characters. Mainly, we are talking about my crossover characters, the OCs that tie all or many of my stories together. Silas, Arcady, and Clarice. I thought this would be a good place to start before diving into the Fine Game and Yester Hour, because by introducing you to these characters, I can introduce you to, briefly, everything I write. So, to set the stage for their stories, let me give you a quick intro to my fictional universe. Or multiverse, technically. Yeah, I'll explain. My stories are basically divided into 3 different universes, and these universes are separated by the genres I write. There is one outlier, and the other 2 connect much more closely in various small ways. The outlier is called the Crowns universe, and that is where my sword and sorcery fantasy lives. Inspired by Shakespearean stories, the Renaissance, the Plague, Demon Slayer, Pirates of the Caribbean. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on in that universe, and I love it to death, but I'm not actively working on stories in that world just yet. That will probably be a few years down the road. The first of the more active universes is called the Gate universe. It's called that because it's full of my steampunk portal fantasy stories, including my very first serious novel concept, Darkreeden. This universe is not at the forefront of my mind at the moment, but it's much closer because, as I said before, it's connected to the one I'm currently writing in, and very important for my crossover OCs. So here's the general idea for the Gate universe. This is an alternate version of our own world, with a similar history and similar versions of countries, societies, etc. But there are hidden items in this world that act as doorways into different secret fantastical realms. Items such as clocks, chessboards, or paintings. I'm still developing the idea for the portals, but that's where my mind has landed at the moment. Darkreeden, the first story in this universe's timeline, takes place in a fictional city in England in 1899. In this story, an eccentric adventurer, a reclusive blacksmith, and a scatterbrained writer all find themselves drawn to the same supernatural mystery involving a masquerade, a machine, and nightmares made real. Did you like my elevator pitch? The pursuit of this mystery leads them to discover the existence of another world, a kingdom of dreams called Demirror, the place where these 3 goobers, unbeknownst to them, are actually from. Exploring the concept of dreams as sentient humanoid beings that represent different aspects of human imagination and feed off of belief. And then what might happen if the kingdom of dreams falls into a civil war that threatens mankind's sanity, leading sentient nightmares to walk the earth. Darkreeden opens up the Gate universe's timeline by introducing the existence of these strange other worlds to a certain group of humans. This leads to the next story in the Gate universe's timeline. Working title, Copper Woods. And I wish I had all this art done because I see so many cool pictures in my head to show you what these worlds look like, but alas, I have not had time to make all the art I want to yet. We're getting there. I will show you in the future. In the aftermath of the events of Darkreeden, we moved to 1920s Europe, hopping between fictional cities in, I'm thinking, France, England, Germany, and possibly Russia. certain groups of people who are either A, friends of those involved in Dimir after the Dream Wars, or B, folks around these areas discovering other portals to other worlds, are forming secret societies and fighting secret wars. One society, the League of the Clock, was created by the humans involved in the events of Darkredan, and in a Magnus Archives type of sense, their goal is to broaden their knowledge and protect the secrets of these worlds, while others start to use the portals for their own gain, which, because of the effect these worlds have on humanity, is not safe or good or smart. Well, this era of the timeline is where my OCs of the day come into the light. Let's start with Silas. Silas is a special case. He shows up in the Crowns universe too, a different version of him, a plague doctor. But the relevant stuff starts in Darkredan. There's a Raven character in the first book that delivers the main character, Hugo, the aforementioned eccentric adventurer, his invitation to the masquerade that starts all the plot. This Raven character is Silas, who also appears as living shadows in Hugo's vision that look out for him, show him important things about his surroundings when he's solving the mystery, and guard him from the eyes of enemies he doesn't know he has yet. Silas shapeshifts, his most common motifs being a raven or shadow people, and while he has the personality of the narrator from Slay the Princess,
you're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you?
He has the occupation of Bert from Mary Poppins.
Today I'm a screever and a brush for the flu.
Because I have him as a cameo character in literally all of my stories, he has both shape-shifting forms and jobs, although they usually have to do with protecting people or gatekeeping in whatever fashion. Sometimes I have him as a gatekeeper of a city, sometimes as a ticket taker in a cinema. It really depends on his role in the story. In Darkredan, when his humanoid self is introduced, he is the operator of a steampunk train that ferries dreams between the human world and Dimir. There's also the train thing, I forgot about that. He's just cool. I liked to give him all the cool jobs. I like Silas. He's my mascot after all. After the events of Darkredan, he gets bolder with his efforts to assist those on the front lines of these battles, and serves as a close associate of the League of the Clock. During his involvement with the League, he embraces his humanoid side much more, both to blend in and also because he's forming closer relationships with humans. His human design is inspired by the Romani people, or Roma people, of that time in Germany. In Germany, they were called the Sinti. I just thought that would be super cool, because he never stays around in one spot. He forms close family ties with these people, and having a connection to a group that was persecuted during this time, it would weave in a lot of the impact of what the human world was going through to serve his character arc. If I'm going to consider myself a part of these people, if I'm going to embrace this side of myself, these are the battles that are being fought. So yeah, I thought that would be super cool. While undercover, he gets involved with a group who worked in a cabaret, a secret headquarters for their allies, including members of two different families that are very important to the third universe. The Amsels, who performed, and one Mr. Hartwig, who was a cook and became a good friend of Silas's. After tensions rise both in the secret society affairs and in Europe, the cabaret closes and the Amsels, Hartwig, a Romani girl who's fallen in love with Hartwig, this will be important later, and Silas move to America. Instead of returning to the League of the Clock, Silas decides to keep an eye on the people he considers his family, while they hide from the horrors they escaped. But they leave one behind. Arkady, an illegitimate child of an Amsel, is left to fend for himself against an oncoming world of horror. And after he finds a portal to a world where lost things go, an event that replaces some of his humanity with something beyond that, he refuses to accept he doesn't have a family, leaves, and eventually finds the city in America where old workers of the cabaret have escaped to. And there's going to be a story later on in the Gate Universe's timeline surrounding that world, and I'm super excited about it. The design is so cool, and I love it. But it's important at this moment because of what it does to Arkady. Little did any of these people know that that city in America was about to be pulled into another dimension. Aha. And here we come to the third universe, the noir universe, named for the vintage film aesthetic that inspired so much of it. This world, originating as part of the Gate universe and going on to become another dimension, is where my retro-future sci-fi stories take place. One continuous timeline of a civilization that started as a wacky deco-punk city in the middle of nowhere, USA, and becomes a broken planet in a foreign cosmos that feeds on light. And the events of this world begin with our next character, Clarice. Clarice is a young eldritch being whose world was destroyed. She found her way to the same world of lost things as Arkady, Harayev, and stayed there for a while after he left. She has sort of an uncanny puppeteer design, and once she gets a little more development, she takes on like a vintage old-timey nightclub singer you would see in an old movie type of vibe. Okay, I'll just say it. She's partially inspired by Alice Angel. Just shh. I'm such a nerd.
Bits of your mind swimming like fish in a bowl.
Yeah, for her vibe, think of a little bit of Alice Angel. Think of Nicola Orsanov, again from the Magnus Archives.
He got really boring, and I'm a monster.
Think of Sin from Murder Drones. I really had fun with inspiration from that.
Dropped this.
Silly.
Hi, Em.
A little bit of the web series version of Enna.
I keep hearing voices inside my head. They tell me to eat my veggies.
I basically create inspiration smoothies to make OCs. I love these people. They're so fun. It created this monstrosity that I also love and cherish very much. But yeah, at her heart, she has kind of an uncanny puppeteer design, and one of her eyes is always covered by her hair. In the past, I've drawn her without a nose, but I think I just couldn't decide on what it should look like and got lazy. She does have a nose. Behold, a nose. Anyway, I'm still working on my style. I don't know, man. I just live here. In the future, when I'm not rushing to go to a writer's conference and I have time to make actually good quality art for the things I'm talking about in these videos, I will show you a better picture of her, and of Silas, and of our kitty. But for now, ta-da! Anyway, caught in the crossfire of the events of Copperwoods, Clarice is one day unable to return to Horiath, and after causing some problems, terrible at hiding her not-humanness, she eventually flees Europe and follows Arkedy's trail to America. And here we get to Juncture Town, a small deco-punk city in the middle of nowhere, USA that is about to be the center of so much plot. Clarice, desperate not to be shunned, hunted, or used, but also starving for companionship and sustenance, started to develop a new way to hide in plain sight. Face snatching, baby! At the expense of several citizens, she used her puppet strings to take on human forms, steal their identities, and replace them completely. But there was always something a little off about her. Something that gave her away every time. Eventually, a few people in Juncture Town with keen eyes took notice and started a hunt. One of these was Dr. Vincent, a brilliant scientist with suspicions about alternate dimensions, who earned Clarice's trust, and getting close enough to study her, built a device that was effective in revealing her true image and rendering her powerless for a moment. A camera. The only problem was Vincent wasn't the only one interested in stopping her. Hartwig discovered Clarice because his wife, the Romani girl, I'm thinking I might name her Delphi? I don't know, I thought that was cute, was suddenly very not herself one day. His sanity taking a toll trying to grapple with the reality of what was happening, Hartwig took matters, including the camera, into his own hands and confronted Clarice, which did not end well. Something happened to his eyes, and Clarice, well, realizing nowhere was truly safe for her, she had a panic attack and tried to split herself from her puppet without draining the rest of said puppet's life to feed herself. Torn between guilt and desperation, she tried to destroy herself, and it, caused the sky to rip open, exposing Juncture Town to another dimension that slowly began to corrupt their reality and pull them into it. This got Silas's attention, and he set out to eliminate Clarice. Clarice was ready to end it all, but then she found Arkady. He recognized her, reignited their friendship, and offered her refuge without hesitation, hiding her from enemies. Now, Arkady Amsel officially, he is a very fun character. He was partially inspired by the MC from Cabaret, the 1990s version, but without all the inappropriate stuff. I just really like his accent and his demeanor and the way he talks and the way he talks and the way he talks and the funny faces he makes and the way he talks and the way he talks.
Life is disappointing. I get it.
And I gave him a more Slavic-sounding first name because his father is actually a character in Copperwoods from Russia who is an absolute Dorkosaurus, and I really like him. But that's not important at the moment. I just wanted to introduce you to Arkady. He is very witty, very secretive, very the star of the show, and knows more than he lets on, and like I said, is not very human anymore. So, good match for Clarice. He likes her, they're friends, and he's all she's got right now, or possibly ever, knowing her story. Hartwig and his wife, nearly comatose shells of what they used to be, were taken care of secretly by Silas, and the camera was sent back to Dr. Vincent. The city built a wall around the perimeter and put a "Don't Look Up" mandate in place to combat the madness and malformation caused by the rip in the sky when people looked at it. But one of these malformations was special, and this is another character that will show up in several stories. A doppelganger of Hartwig, created out of the fight with Clarice, when everyone was kind of split in half, with no eyes, a fact he hides by wearing a fedora to cover that part of his face, and a thirst for vengeance against Clarice. He became Sheriff Gerardo, the head of a new group of law enforcers in Juncture Town called the Golden Soldiers. Silas became the gatekeeper at the wall, making sure no one got into Juncture Town, or got out. And Arkady opened a nightclub, reminiscent of the cabaret, using entertainment to combat the existential dread of the situation, befriending a hopeful radio star, Capella Caruso, in the process. She's the protagonist of my book! And having her, Audie, his half-sister, something she doesn't know she is, and their friends perform. After Capella and Audie had moved on, Clarice performed there too, with a new face and stage name, one she created herself and was determined to keep. Dr. Vincent knew he needed to keep the camera a secret from Town Hall, who was actively purging everything they thought could be related to the rip in the sky, and was already very suspicious of this somehow being his fault due to what he was known for as a scientist. After the Golden Soldiers began a reign of terror in Juncture Town streets, again, I wish I had art for this right now, but I'll draw it later. I'll show you later. Vincent worked with Silas to get the camera out of Juncture Town. Clearly, there was a lot about it they couldn't properly control yet, and with everything going on, it wasn't safe to keep it in reach of Clarice, Town Hall, the Golden Soldiers, or the sky. But who outside could they trust? Well, if I go any further, I'm going to spoil the Find game. Aha! It's all connected. Speaking of the Find game, I'm currently working on episode plotting. Woo-hoo! Oh my gosh, that sounded weird. I'm currently working on episode plotting. I untangled the plot points for the backstory, so I know for sure what led to all the things. I just have to continue developing the things that lead to the end of the things and then get started on animations. But with these new edits and plans, I tweaked the characters a little bit. So, next episode of I Draw Things While I Talk to You About Things and Stuff, I'm thinking I'll draw the character sprites and yap about designs and personalities and whatnot, because in this rendition of the Find game, you'll get to see the character designs a lot more, and I'm quite excited about it. So, yeah, that is my lore dump for the day. It's been fun. It's been an absolute war in my brain, but it's really fun. I hope it made sense. I hope you can decipher my madness a little bit. I barely know what's going on, but I wrote it all down so I can refer back if I confuse myself, which sometimes happens because I'm sure you can tell by now because I just let you into my brain. It's really loud in here. Anyways, yeah, that is it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please, please, please like and subscribe. I am on my hands and knees, no shame. I really need help over here. I am a tiny, tiny little gremlin in the world of social media, and if I ever want to turn these into stories that I can actually, sell and show people, and hopefully, pay the bills, I need to find my people. I need to find you. Please help. Please help. Please tell your friends if they would like this sort of thing, and if they wouldn't, watch at your own risk. I'm a dork. Anyway, thank you guys for your excitement, for your support, for your patience, for being so nice. You're so nice. I can't. If you have other ideas for things that I could chat about that you would be interested in, stories that I didn't make that inspire me, I don't know, story theories, I could do that kind of thing, like video essays, if you guys would be interested in that, or I could show you how I make characters, how I make worlds, my process for world building and story making and whatnot, what I have learned about character creation and writing over the years. Let me know what you guys would be interested in. I have ideas for videos myself, but I also want to know what you guys want to see. So let me know in the comments. Thank you so very much. And until we meet again.
Bye-bye!